Well, welcome everyone to Innovation Interview Student Series. We are here at the Kautz-Uible Crypto Economics Lab at the University of Cincinnati. My name is Sunshine and I'm your host today. Today's special guest is Jacob Metzger. Innovation Interview focuses on students and scholars who are making a great impact on cryptocurrency and blockchain and Web3 adoption.
Kind of contribute a little bit on why I want to study cryptocurrency.
I was introduced to blockchain, Web3.
Jacob is a second-year law student at the University of Cincinnati College of Law. He has a special interest in soft intellectual property law. Jacob works as a legal research analyst at the Kautz-Uible Economics Institute, and this summer is going to work at the Office of the Indiana Attorney General in the Consumer Protection Division. Jacob, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Tell me something about yourself that not many people know.
Yeah, so something that not a lot of people know, and it's kind of crazy, is I like to buy things from really untraditional places.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I actually bought my current car, from a police auction. Somebody had run another person over with my car. And there was actually there's still a dent in it, and I haven't named it because there aren't very many famous attempted murderers. But
wow.
Yeah, I got it for a cheap price. It was killer.
Nice, very nice. Well, I can say that I maybe bought a aluminum life-size knight at a yard sale for $20. That was my special purchase.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about yourself. How did you get into law? What made you want to get into law? And what made you get into soft intellectual property?
Yeah, so I've always known I wanted to be a lawyer, I would say since the sophomore year of high school. I went into undergrad knowing I wanted to be a lawyer, and that really helped me. I was able to get a lot of great experiences in early. I worked at a court for a few judges in small claims and eviction court, and that's when I really knew I wanted to do civil stuff. This last summer, I actually got to work with Alloy Development, which does tech startups. And so I worked with 4 small businesses that were all in technology-based fields. And so I'd worked on some healthcare and some infrastructure and some risk analysis, all working with their small businesses. And it was extremely fulfilling.
What made you want to focus on that particular area? Was there a certain story or something that happened that really made you decide that this was the area of law that you wanted to focus on?
Yeah, so back when I'd worked with the court, I had seen, eviction court, and I had seen, literal criminal atrocities, murder, drug abuse, that sort of thing. I had looked at tech, and I had seen, this is where ingenuity is. This is where innovation is. These were happier stories, you know what I mean? These aren't things that you go home depressed about. And that was my number one thing is, this sort of field, and soft intellectual property specifically, is the field of ingenuity and creativity and wonderful things. You know what I mean?
So you wanted to help and be a part of to drive that innovation for others.
Exactly. And that's kind of what led me into the crypto lab as well. I saw posting about this in my tech background, and I had some research that I'd done last spring as well that really helped beef me up before I came into this.
So Jacob, tell me, what is soft intellectual property? Can you describe that?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird being able to describe it this way, but soft intellectual property is best described by describing what hard intellectual property is. So intellectual property falls into 2 really big branches. There's hard intellectual property, which is patent driven, and those are for the STEMs, the engineers, the math oriented people. And then there are the people who get C's in statistics like me. Those sort of people fall into soft intellectual property. That's, data, that's a lot more data now, but trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, a lot more ingenuity and the fun stuff.
Now, how does soft intellectual property translate into cryptocurrency?
Yeah, it's less fungible to cryptocurrency, but a lot of the work I'm doing right now is NFT driven, and there's tons of applications in soft intellectual property in NFTs because, NFTs, we have a lot of artists that make NFTs here. And there's a lot of licensing issues on what do I own when I produce an NFT and then I send it down the stream and somebody else is purchasing my NFT. And, the Bored Ape Yacht Club does it differently. There's tons of different marketplaces that do who owns what differently in the licensing aspect.
So when you look on the internet or when you're buying a non-fungible token, you really need to look and read the fine print as far as what is covered as far as soft intellectual property.
Yes, because sometimes you could have rights in, producing it like in a commercial aspect if you own that particular, image, the copyright of that. Sometimes you don't, and you need to be able to identify that before you get there. Those sort of things are in the licensing agreement, so it's good to read those.
So what problems or barriers do you think that artists will encounter with NFTs?
So for one, I think that a lot of hostility comes in the legal field actually, because being completely frank, a lot of attorneys don't understand it or have a hard time being able to wrap their head around why somebody would want to have an NFT. I actually went to a conference back in October, I think it was, and I remember there were some hecklers almost that were kind of poking fun at the topic of NFTs. It was an hour seminar, and relating it to how is this any better than a baseball card, or you know what I mean, that sort of thing. Just being able to understand and have that education behind it, I think, is one of the best things that an attorney can do, and recognize that this is here and there's work here. So if there's work here and you're a private attorney, there's no reason to be hostile towards it. It's just another avenue to being able to serve a client.
So this is really a new field that some attorneys may not even be familiar with or how to address. Do you think, or do you anticipate that there will be some new laws that will be supported with NFTs? And if so, what do you think that will be?
I think that's hard to say, because it's hard to say how the legislature is going to be able to adapt to this sort of thing, and if the people that we are electing as politicians will still be able to understand it. I mean, right now you get people who are, in the 60s to the 90s, the NFT is, some of them, the internet is too much.
Probably unrelatable, yeah.
Yeah, and so, the internet, all the politicians we elect in the future, they'll have an understanding of what the internet is, from the day they were born to the day they die. But still, I look at my legal class and they still don't understand what an NFT is. And I think, Cincinnati Law has done a wonderful job of, providing the avenues and the classes to be able to learn. But it's not something that's mandated in the school curriculum to the point where everyone should have that background in there.
How do you think in the future that you'll be able to protect artists or be able to represent artists that make non-fungible tokens?
Yeah, the best way you can do it is just being the best attorney you can and staying with the times. However, there are a lot of different issues, like AI, for instance. AI is a really, really scary issue for all artists. Because AI isn't a human, obviously isn't human. And so the problem is copyright law, and it's in the Constitution. It's very interesting. I believe it's Article 8, but don't quote me. The Constitution is the intellectual property law clause, and it ascribes the ability to have a copyright to humans, not to machines or AI. So the ramifications of that right now is an AI can scan thousands of pieces of art, produce thousands of pieces, and not a single one of them is copyrighted, which, sounds great. Oh, I can just take that. But the problem is anyone can just take that, and there's no liability then.
Right.
And so it floods the market with potentially thousands of free images that are,
and that's happening now, right?
It's happening today. Mm-hmm. And so that is one of the scariest things for artists. And, it's here, it's used, and, if that's the cheaper option, people are going to go to it, regardless of the human aspects of it. And so it's a very real issue. It would be harder, that sort of law would be a good protection on, to prevent that sort of thing. However, you have to have people who understand it.
Yeah. You also have starving artists that are working, that's their career, to be able to make artistry. And that's how, they bring money to the table. And if there is an AI that's going to do that, that's taking jobs.
Exactly. But I mean, and the inverse of that too is, a lot of people argue that, the automated cash register also took jobs. You know what I mean? This is just advancement. I do think there is a human element to it, but, and that is a very mechanical way to look at it, dollars and cents. But I just wanted to put that out there too, But.
Very, very interesting. What do you think the barriers are right now for current law for soft intellectual property and the NFTs? What do you think is the hardest barrier right now? And how do we approach it in the future?
So when you say the hardest barrier, do you mean like how to get involved, I guess?
Yeah. So how do we help artists, and how do we be able to make that distinction of the NFT artistry between what you were saying, the AI or the bots that can make the NFTs versus an actual artist that's making it. What can we do, and how can we distinguish between which one it is?
That's a hard answer, because even if you legislate, let's say hypothetically we made AI generating bots, they're not, but art generating AI illegal, then it's still going to happen on the, you know what I mean, on the internet. That's a hard question, and I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult protection.
Well, it sounds like that you are in an area that definitely needs to be explored more,
Yeah.
and you're really finding your niche, and you sounds like you will be kind of an expert in this area, because not many are going into this field of law. It sounds like there needs to be special attention and definitely more legislation when it comes to the soft intellectual property and also NFTs.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything that I didn't mention that you think is important for the law that you currently are studying?
Not off the top of my head. I think we hit it all.
Okay. Just some background about you. What is your passion in law, and what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself, and how do you want to represent yourself with the law?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm really proud about is, just making changes in, my peers and my friends and, anyone's lives. I've done a lot of student advocacy in the last couple of years, and that's kind of the trend I like to take in the law, not necessarily student advocacy, but just advocacy. In undergrad, I helped raise like a group of faculty and student auditors over our budget for the general fee committee. That was like a $20 million budget, which it took me 3 years of my time, like 3 consistent years working on that. It wasn't just something I could do even in a month. It was a long time being able to advocate in the right places. And then even little things now, like I'm in the Student Bar Association, which is like the governing body of the law school. I'm the vice president of that. And, a lot of it's the social element of it too. But there was little panels that we hold to help a lot of law students. So even 2 weeks ago, I had a panel that was all about grades, because you have law students who are all these top 10% kids. And they're all, before you go to law school, you have to do well to get there. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
The problem is when you get to law school it's curved. So all these people that were top 10, somebody's going to be the bottom 10, and it all just fits in the curve that way. We had a lot of great speakers there, people who didn't do well, who were in the bottom 10 or who were under their threshold to the point where they were on some sort of academic probation. But it's different in law school. That's not a bad sign. It's just you have to take more bar classes. After that panel, I had 3 law students come up to me and tell me that they were going to drop out of law school. And that had the words that these people had said, that it's fine. There were tons of successful people who had done poorly their first year in law school, and they were working at Kroger. They were working at mid-sized firms. They were working at small firms. They were working in public interest. Those avenues are open. That advocacy element there, it means the most to me. And regardless of which way I go in my career, if I, end up in the Attorney General's office, or if I end up working for a firm and doing soft intellectual property and trademark law, I'm going to be an advocate somewhere. That's my number one thing.
That's really amazing that you're able to be there to support people that may just are in a time and a place where they feel like that they can't succeed, and you're just there in the background, just saying this can happen and you can do this.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Well, Jacob, I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate this interview. You are doing great things, and you are making a difference in the world, so we thank you for that. Before we go, we are going to do our Crypto Lab Speed Scholar, which is a game of speed. And I know you are not maybe as familiar with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
But we have some cards here that some are easy, some are abbreviations. The goal is to get as many cards in 1 minute. If you don't know, just hit pass.
Okay.
Pass until you get them right. Okay?
We're gonna go through that whole deck.
We're gonna try to go through the whole deck.
Yeah.
Now, whoever for the interviews for this month, whoever gets the most cards is awarded the Crypto Lab Speed Scholar, which is an honor. Okay. So we'll get started. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let me just shuffle here.
Dr.
Right.
Jones isn't going to fire me after this, is he?
Well, I think you're going to do great. No, he won't. Okay, clock. All right. And go. First known purchase with Bitcoin.
Oh, pizza.
Very good. DYOR.
Nope, pass.
A physical storage device such as a flash drive, hard drive, or a solid state drive used to store cryptocurrency
Oh,
offline.
wallet. No.
Yep.
Wallet? Yeah.
What kind?
Oh, pass.
Which cryptocurrency connects a network of at least 7 to 5 international banks on Ripple network?
Pass.
If the price of cryptocurrency has a negative price movement, it's called what?
Oh, is it bullish?
Yes.
Bullish.
Yes. I won't do that one. Transaction on the Ethereum network carry a fee. For every transaction, users may pay this amount.
Gas.
Very good. Group that works together towards a shared goal and abides by rules written in the project self-executing computer code.
Pass.
Digital tokens that represent a unique asset such as art, music, or other digital.
NFT.
Very good. A digital or virtual currency secured by cryptography.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I would say you did pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good for not knowing a lot about cryptocurrency. So congratulations, Steve. I'm very impressed. Well, Jacob, good luck to you. Take care. Thank you for letting us interview you and have a wonderful day.
Yes, thank you.